Should teachers post content of their students? Because here's the thing, a teacher has caused controversy recently after allowing his students to do his hair in the classroom, and then he posted a video of it on TikTok, and then he was fired after a huge amount of backlash, and it sparked a big debate about whether teachers should be filming their students, whether phones should even be in schools, and so much more. So let's dig into it on this edition of Scroll Deep, the show that keeps up with internet nonsense so you don't have to. So this teacher, he goes by like 5 different usernames, but he's JQ Lee, but also goes by the Illuminating One, which I kind of love. He's a science teacher who works at a school, we don't know which school, probably for the best, and he's known for posting videos to his TikTok and his Instagram of his daily adventures as a teacher, you know, educating the young ones. And he also posts like general videos and skits and stuff like that. He's amassed over 700,000 followers on TikTok, so he's got a fair few fans, but he took things just a hair too far when he posted a video of himself surrounded by female students who were taking out his braids. And the video quickly received some backlash, and he was promptly fired from his job. So let's examine the video for a minute. As you can see, he sits down, it's sort of a time-lapse thing, and a group of his students, all teenage, all female, methodically take out his hair braids while he sits patiently. He doesn't even really talk to them, he just kind of sits there quietly and just lets them do it. The caption of the video reads, quote, "Students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Teaching is a work of heart." Get it? This guy's a real pun master. I quite like that about him. So let's break this down. There's some things to note about this video. One, he doesn't really interact with them, okay? I guess that's a point in its favor. He's not like touching them back or anything. But 2, they are touching him. A relatively intimate thing to do with any adult, but especially with a teacher. You know, did you ever touch one of your teachers? I don't think I ever did. Especially their hair. Like, I don't think I ever touched my teacher's hair, personally. 3, perhaps most notably, no faces are blurred or covered in this video. You can clearly see these young people's faces. And 4, this is all happening in school. So on top of everything else, it's being compounded by the fact that this is a teacher-student relationship and this is taking place in school. I think it was after school, but it's still like in school grounds, which just always compounds things. So there's a lot of fuel for reactions from both directions, and my God, have there been a lot of reactions. One of the top comments on TikTok, because he posted this video on both Instagram and TikTok, one of the top comments on TikTok said, quote, "I see nothing wrong. Some of them may not have a father figure or a big brother at home, so keep it up. Be there for them." Another comment said, quote, "As a mother, I would be livid." Another comment said, "In the UK, you'd be fired." And hold on to that thought, because maybe that did happen. In fact, it did. I just told you it did. There was also lots of people pointing out that he's attractive. One comment said, quote, "A lot of people in the comments beating around the bush, so I'll say it. It's weird." I like they put it in quotes as if weird is like a new word they've just discovered. "It's weird to these people because you're young and attractive, tattoos, etc. And people don't like that because they perceive these girls as possibly being attracted to you," which I think is actually quite odd. I think people are projecting a lot of really unsavory, negative, pessimistic stuff onto this situation because it's a man and young women. There must be some sexual element or some grooming element, or they must be attracted to him. Also, it's kind of like, well, if he was ugly or like elderly or whatever, then would it be fine? Like, what is, you know, he can't help how he looks. But again, you wouldn't have to be answering these difficult questions if he just hadn't done it in the first place. It's also worth noting, like, he didn't invent this. This is something we've seen before. We've seen videos of, you know, kids, like students doing their teacher's hair, right? Like he's, you know, following a trend here. And has he been unnecessarily punished compared to other teachers? The video's got over 6 million views, and the video is still up on both TikTok and Instagram, which I think is interesting because they're getting quite a lot of negative comments, but he has not taken them down. But he was fired from his job. And he's now responded to that. He said, quote, "We as people have to abandon this idea of sexual intimacy being tied with getting your hair done. You can see there's nothing suggestive going on. It's like family, it's like community. This is simply a wholesome, innocent, community-oriented activity." If I was a female teacher, those people wouldn't be in the comments saying, "Oh, this is weird, this is inappropriate." Because me, personally, I know there isn't anything weird about this. People are saying, "Oh, that's too intimate." To me, it's literally just hair. It doesn't have to be weird. Some people never had cool teachers, and it shows. Did he really call himself a cool teacher? You can't do that.
That's like his brand on TikTok.
Some people have never had cool teachers, and it shows.
That can be your brand, but you can't say it out loud.
Yeah.
I take the time to get to know my students outside of academics because caring for the whole child is what's important. Now, all of that is great, right? I'm not saying this is a bad person. I feel like the internet loves to do this binary thing where they're like, everyone is either completely good or completely bad, and you just fall in one of those buckets, and it's almost never true. I don't think he is a bad guy. Perhaps I will be proven wrong. But I think he has his heart in the right place. It seems like his students really like him. You know, it's not that he's a bad guy. He wants the best for them. It's just about whether this one particular thing was appropriate. For example, he posted a video where he's like tearful, and he was reading out messages from his students after he got fired, and all of the messages were saying like, we really miss you, we think this was unfair, you know, please come back. And he's like getting really tearful reading these messages. Of course, then people immediately hopped in the comments and went, why are you getting messages from your students? How are these students messaging you? Is it email? Is it text? Why do they have your number? Why do they have your email? You know what I mean? Like, people are gonna always find an angle. Again, I didn't really message my teachers outside of school, but it's a different age now, I suppose. But if those messages are real, I don't doubt they are. It seems like the students really like him. But again, it's about boundaries, you know? I will say the comments on that video, not very sympathetic. One of the more sympathetic comments just said, hey, you know, for you as an educator, this is probably a learning experience about boundaries. On Instagram, someone said, you are right, be respectful. They are not your friends. Take your suspension and keep it moving. These are not your children. Too many lines are crossed. This is not appropriate. Your girls are too impressionable. This is not wisdom. Grow up. So then on top of the reaction to the video, we now have reactions to the firing, because that's like a whole other debate, which is like, if this is inappropriate, should he be fired? Should he just be disciplined? You know, firing seems quite extreme, I suppose. But, you know, when it comes to things with kids, people are pretty strict. Jason Okundaye, a guy you might recognize, he goes viral on Twitter all the time. He often has quite smart and nuanced takes on things. Oh, that's Jason now. He had a pretty straightforward opinion on this. He tweeted, quote, I'm getting so bored of everyone's constant need to be nuanced about everything. There's no nuance to a teacher getting kids to do their hair and putting it on TikTok. It's wrong and should be sanctioned. The end. So pretty straightforward about that. So what's my analysis of this? This is what we've all been waiting for. Oh, Ben, we have to hear your precious opinions about this. Well, I basically think there's three elements here. Let's break them down. Number one, I have three thoughts about them. I don't know what they are, but I have three thoughts. All right, number one, is there necessarily something predatory or nefarious about girls doing his hair? I don't think so. But two, he is their teacher, which makes it a completely different situation. If this was a family friend of their parents or a relative or something like that, then maybe, yeah, okay, there's nothing, I don't think inherently like sexual or creepy about just helping someone with their hair. But when it's a teacher, it's just a whole level beyond of responsibility and safeguarding, morally, professionally, legally. There is so much tape around being a teacher. There's a reason why you have to do training and sign contracts and stuff. So no, I don't think he should have done it. And no, I don't think it would be different if it was a female teacher or whatever. Basically, I think teachers should try and avoid physical contact with students as a broad rule, because at the very least, it just keeps things clean. It means things don't get messy and confusing, and you don't have to have debates. It's just better if you try and keep a little bit of distance. But also, three, there's a third element here, which is don't film it. I'm not saying he should have just done this in private and then got away with it because he wasn't filming it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying don't film kids. Don't film kids, right? Let's not film kids. But also don't film kids in school, all right? This is a workplace. And these people are underage, you know what I mean? You're at your job, don't film people at your job. And don't film people at your job if all the people at your job are like 15. And also, if your job isn't school, what job is that? All of it just creates such a mess. So I think this was just a really avoidable situation. And I think it is sad because he seems like he's a nice teacher. And I hope he's able to bounce back from this and keep educating and keep those puns coming. But also, I should say, it works both ways, all right? I don't think you should also be filming teachers. We've covered stuff on this show about people filming their teachers or like harassing their teachers with like cameras and stuff. I don't think anyone should really be filming in school. I think that's just, again, it just creates a bit of a mess. Even having like phones in school. Back in my day, you know, we weren't allowed to bring our telegram machines into school, like beep, 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 you know, like getting on the old wireless to try and message someone about whether they want to come and play Scrabble at my house or whatever. But what do you think? This is a hot button topic and people are very divided. Do you think he was okay to let them do his hair? Do you think he was okay to film it and publish it? Do you think he should have been fired? What level of okay are you with this, if at all? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's get some nice discussion going. Nice, respectful discussion going. But until next time, I'll leave you with our famous catchphrase, and cut. And I think that's a lesson we could all take. About turning the cameras off. It's about the cameras.